first out to qualify and come back into the pits after that lap. I think that might have been what's gone on.
No, he was at the back. He never left the pits, actually. No,
that must have been the kart then they were checking, Steve. It's obviously they've decided it's not right, so they're going to send him out. We can see that we're looking at the back of the lineup there. Adam is actually off to the side, slightly out of view. There's just edging forward. You can just about see his foot on the screen, can't you? Yeah. So Adam clearly will be joining at the back of this, so he will be last to set a time, but not necessarily last in the qualifying.
No, absolutely not. And no, at least he's getting a kart now that he feels underneath it. They were going to give him kart 13 by the looks of it, but maybe something else has happened with that. And
yeah, he's jumped across. Is that the 11? I believe it might be the 11 kart. Yeah. It may well be that he just doesn't like 13. Would that be fair?
Well, it's unlucky for some, isn't it? But nevertheless, it might be lucky for him. I say we're not having the best time, the Blackpool boys. I say me with my black flag in the last race, and Adam with his problems here. But we keep fighting, and we'll come through.
It's never easy, Steve. There's no easy run at all. Anyway, it looks like we're about to get this underway. They're just getting the go-ahead from the start. I think they're more concerned that Adam Davis is going to be ready to join up in the back of the queue there, and there's not going to be any real gap. So anyway, leading back out onto the track, away they go. And we'll keep our eyes posted. Yes, Adam Davis is joining the back of the lineup there. You can't see in the pit lane on the screen. We're keeping a tab on that for you. Adam Davis is definitely underway on this one as the drivers make their way around. Adam Davis, in fact, leaving the pits now to start his out lap and then, of course, the all-important qualifier.
Yeah, like you say, I've told him, get this qualifying nailed. He needs to get a good position here and get himself for this. It's all about the qualifying for me. I'm really big on this. If you start high up, I think, especially someone of Adam's ability, he's got the pace to be able to keep them behind him. He's cool as a cucumber, and he's held me off for hours on end when we've been doing endurances, so I'm sure he can do it here as well.
There's too many good people in this to be messing around, isn't there? You know, a lot of the work is done in qualifying, not because it's hard to overtake, but just because everybody is so good. You know, and there's a lot of cancelling out goes on. However, most of the karts are on the qualifying lap. That's your man Adam Davis down there, isn't it? Just starting there, Steve.
Yeah, it's just starting now, but Sam Slater's got his first lap, 35.6. These guys will be coming across the line any time now. Is number 17. That will be Michael Beddoes coming across, followed by number 10, Ben Churchill. So they've set their quick.
So Beddoes is going to go. Surely, no, Beddoes, was he slow there? What's going on there with Beddoes?
Well, Ben Churchill's just gone the quickest, hasn't he? 35.4.
Provisional pole, but Beddoes very, very slow. Very, very slow. Did he hit the wall? 36.4. Sam Slater's on provisional pole, and Tom Van Dyke, 34.9, straight away into 34 seconds. What a run. Here comes your man Adam Davis. What's he going to do? Let's see. Yes, he moves up to fifth with a 35.5.
Yeah, good effort that. I'm sure he'll be pleased with that. But Tom Van Dyke, as you say, what a lap. That's qualifying 34.9. That's set the bar straight away.
Absolutely, Steve. Talking with Steve here. He's been racing, obviously, today, but he's up in the commentary box helping out with the qualifying. certainly all eyes on that final hairpin. The race doesn't technically start, of course, till across the line, which is in the next turn. But this final hairpin is really going to is important because it's all about momentum up to the hairpin that follows these two opening corners. Okay, so now they're on, and it is a great start by Tom van Dijk. Sam Slater puts himself in second, and Ben Churchill in third. Tom van Dijk's got the start he wanted, Steve.
He has, even the second time. It was a very good start. He put the hammer down just as he came round the first corner, and he's got away. But he's got, like you say, a fired up Sam Slater. Again, spoke to him yesterday. He was very fired up on what he could do today. He's in second place. Ben Churchill in third. Another quick driver. He's already proved himself against the likes of Lewis Manley and Ruben Boutons. Killian Stoddart in fourth. Adam Davis fifth. Ross O'Mara going with the ball in sixth place. Adam Davis under attacking turn there as he comes through, but keeps going. He's got right behind him number 21. That's Ross O'Mara. It's still very close. It's not really spread out yet. The top two just maybe starting to open up a gap. Tom van Dijk with a 34.893 seconds. Already right behind him, Sam Slater with a 34.9. So those two drivers already getting into the 34 seconds, just 2 laps in.
Absolutely. You're hearing the voice of Steve Gray, who's also racing this tournament, pointing out there that the two leaders straight away into 34 seconds, and they are pulling out a gap from Ben Churchill. Ben Churchill has got a bit of rear guard action. Killian Stoddart, Adam Davis, Ross O'Mara and Luke Jones are on his case, not letting him get away with anything. Got a pit visitor already. Why? It's too early, I think, Steve, isn't it? Oh no, they've got a couple of laps in, so they're okay. That's Ross O'Mara.
Yeah, he's come in straight away, hasn't he? Obviously felt he was getting holed up in traffic, possibly. It was a big train of 4 or 5 carts there, so he obviously wants to get out, get a bit of clear space, get his head down and get some laps together.
Absolutely, he clearly feels that those in front of him are going to be costing themselves out. There's Ben Churchill. This is what Ross O'Mara has just got himself out of, this battle with Ben Churchill. There's Churchill, Stoddart, Adam Davis is in the mix there, and that, I think, is the gap. And Davis is in the pits. That's Davis, isn't it?
Yeah, he's come in. It's third. He's obviously thinking again. He's in traffic. He's got, and he's
he was waving about
something. I'm not sure what happened, but again, he's slightly slow there. And this time, again, just a little bit slow. He needs to just be a bit more. He's worried about something. That's number 20. He's just going to come out there. Ross O'Mara is going to be right behind him as they come through. Adam moves across. Keeps him behind, but yeah, gesticulating about something, James. I'm not sure what that was about.
He was waving about. I actually thought for some reason his engine had cut out, but maybe he felt it stall, but actually as soon as he hit the gas it kind of refired and picked him up. Maybe there was enough physical momentum within the internals there. But look at this lead already. Tom van Dijk set a new, he's currently the fastest on the track. Tom van Dijk and second place Sam Slater leading. There they are on screen now. There's Van Dijk, there's Slater. Look at this gap over third place. Ben Churchill already. Ben Churchill with Killian Stoddart all over him. That Killian Stoddart trying to make the pass there.
Yeah, very true as well. I've just learned some information there about Adam Davis. What he basically happened was he left his foot on the brake as he came into the pits. Thought it had cut out, but obviously once he took his foot off the brake, he was able to carry on. So don't worry, Adam, your cart's going nowhere.
Absolutely, but Killian Stoddart, meantime, has passed Ben Churchill and is pulling out a little bit of gap. Stoddart did it at the end of the backstretch there, into that hairpin where we've seen a lot of passing moves. Here's Tom van Dijk, second place, Sam Slater. Now we're looking for Stoddart. Killian Stoddart is pulling away slightly from Ben Churchill. And then the following drivers there, Jones and Franklin Richter, as the leaders come through. Here are the leaders. That's Tom van Dijk. He's running with his visor up, actually. It's interesting how he's at an indoor kart event with a tinted visor. It
is very true. Like you say, he's obviously maybe struggling to see a bit with the lighter, but very strange line as he comes down the straight. If you watch him closely, he takes the inside line every time, and obviously it gives it, maybe it's his obviously preferred line, but very strange compared to everyone else who always seems to take the wide line in. Tom sticks to the inside.
Are we talking about the backstretch there? Well, we're on the backstretch now. Let's have a look at exactly what you were talking about.
Last time
looking back as well, I think he's nervous about Slater. I really do. That's a more conventional line there, but he did check over his shoulder. Interestingly, his right shoulder, to see if whether Slater was going to nip to the inside. These two leaders are pulling away, but Killian Stoddart is trying to desperately gap himself from Churchill, close up on the leaders. Stoddart is not, yes he is, Stoddart is the second fastest on the track, sorry, third fastest on track behind the two leaders. He's trying to close in on them, but Tom van Dijk currently in the lead and fastest in the place. He has the fastest lap of this race so far.
Yeah, very true. Just watch it as well. Adam Davis, he's set the third quickest lap of the race, 34.816. He's got that clear space. He's just moved up to 7th place at the discretion of Michael Beddoes. So he's climbing his way up. He's got a good gap back now to Ross O'Meara, who's also just been passed by Beddoes. So Beddoes keep gaining that one position, and Ross O'Meara seems to shape. Although he's down the inside now as they come into the hairpin. Well, this time's complete yet. He's got back through. So Ross O'Meara taking that early stop, but it hasn't really worked out for him, James.
No. Interesting about Adam Davis, he's running in 7th place, but when we look at the screens, he is one of only 3 drivers inside 34 seconds. So third fastest, in fact, no, second fastest on the track is the 7th place car of Adam Davis.
Yeah, it's making me proud, isn't he? Doing very well, but Tom Van Dijk's just set his personal best, 34.684. So he's not letting it die anyway, but it's Tom Van Dijk and Sam Slater still absolutely together as they go around the top of the circuit now for this, the 8th time. And they said nothing to choose between those two at all, but Tom, is he going to be able to hold him off for the entire race?
Absolutely. Well, you never know. Kilian Stodor is now into 34 seconds. This is quite interesting. And Adam Davis faster again. Adam Davis is the fastest on the track. The 7th place car is the fastest, and that's very interesting. He's got a pit stop in hand. He's got space on the track, and he is the fastest driver in this race right now. Adam Davis, he made the switch after there was an issue with his car before qualifying even began for this race, but it's Adam Davis, 7th place, fastest lap of this race so far.
Yeah, great stuff, isn't it? Like you say, obviously worked out well for him. He thought there was a problem with the car or whatever, and he's changed it to that one, and it seems to be in the right move. So 13 minutes left to go. There's still a long time, but it's looking good.
And a new personal best and a new race fastest lap from guess who? Adam Davis. He carries on in 7th place. The leader's fighting away there. That's on the screen now. That's Tom Van Dijk in the blue and white, and Sam Slater following him. And then, of course, you get Kilian Stodor. But here they are, the 2 leaders out, the final corner on the screen, crossing the line now to begin another lap. And very interesting developments going on here.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? I mean, just watching Adam, like I say, he's been about 15 seconds behind Tom Van Dijk and Sam Slater. It's about 10, 11 seconds for a pit stop when you take into account. So if you take that, if Adam keeps clawing away because he's doing quick and quick, a 34.379, that is a blitzing time from Adam. He'll be over the moon with that, and if he keeps chipping away at this lead from Tom Van Dijk and Sam Slater, who knows what could happen.
A ballistic time indeed, Steve. He's fastest, but fastest by 0.3 of a second. Now, okay, that's only over 1 lap, but if he keeps that, these add up. This is how to take the lead. He's got the. He's doing exactly what he needs to. He pitted early to get out of a big fight. In fact, here comes a leader. Is that? No, it wasn't the leader.
50,
it's another one of the blue
Franklin Richter.
Franklin Richter, the Danish, although he does have a German flag on his helmet, so we'll see quite how it is. And in behind him is the 21. The 21, Ross O'Meara. Ross O'Meara's pitted. Hang on, haven't we seen Ross O'Meara in already?
Stop, he must have, yeah, maybe a problem in his first stop, and he's pitted for the second time. We never saw that.
Yeah, they may have called Ross O'Meara in for a second one. Goodness.
Yeah, we've just been confirmed. Yeah, an orange on his first stop for Ross O'Meara. So
so he'd gone a little bit early there. Gone a little bit early. We've got looming in the background though, Sam Spinell. Sam, come on over. We saw you win earlier on. How's it been going for you, and how are you reading this? It's very interesting. You know, we've now got Adam Davis, who's the fastest on the track, but he was moved from 7th to 5th. What do you think?
Well, he started with a cold cart because obviously he changed cart, and he's doing pretty well going back up. How many seconds is he off now? 13. Yeah, he's definitely caught up because he was 15 seconds a few laps ago, so he's looking good. I reckon he can take this.
He may well do, and he's got the great move down there. Who was that, Steve?
It was he's just making a move on Luke Jones. I just saw him down the top of the circuit there. Fantastic move down the inside of Luke Jones, number 9. So that's another position gained, and now he's up to 4th place.
Fantastic. And while we've got a moment, Sam Spinell, we saw you win earlier on. How's your BRKC going this year?
Well, I came 3rd in the first race with Lewis Manley and Bradley, so I'm happy with that result. I came 1st in the second one, so I've dropped 2 points, so it's looking pretty good.
Sorry to cut in there. We've got Sam Slater pitching out of 2nd place. This is crucial. He was all over the back of Tom Van Dijk, and Tom Van Dijk has continued on, but Slater is coming out the pits, and Slater will assume, what is that? Is that 3rd place? What's Adam Davis' situation? He's got the fastest lap, but he has not got the position. Hang on, another one in the pits. It's the number 9. That, of course, Luke Jones.
Yeah, as I say, Adam Davis has closed right up now behind Sam Slater, and the gap that was about 10 seconds is now down to well under 5. So Adam, he's going to be getting his head down. He's going to see if he can get position from Sam Slater. Remember, we've still got Tom Van Dijk to pit as well, so that'll be the last piece in the jigsaw.
Incredibly, we've just heard from Sam Spinell there that Kilian Stodor is one of the fastest in the race. He's running 5th. I think we saw him as high as 3rd at one point, but it's a 90 kilo limit. He's running at 100 kilos, Steve King. He's 10 kilos over, and we've got someone in the pits. It's the 9, have we got Luke Jones again? Have we got a second bundled stop?
Yeah, I was going to say that's another drive-through. So if we have any more drive-throughs, we're going to have to start selling burgers and fries in the pit lane, aren't we? It's going to be one of those.
I was going to say, it's all getting a little bit frantic down there. We've got Tom Van Dijk, though, who's trying to extend his lead. 21 just seen going through Ross O'Mara. I think that's Van Dijk behind O'Mara, or is this Van Dijk on his own? Van Dijk's in the 8 cart. I think that's him behind Ross O'Mara. Kilian Stodor, we said he was the heaviest driver in the race. He's running 4th. Adam Davis has crept up to 3rd now, still right with the race fastest lap by 0.3 of a second.
And look
what
at
a show!
And look at this battle now. Adam is right behind Sam Slater, literally breathing down his neck as they come through the turns 4 and 5. Up down the back of the circuit. This is a great performance from Adam Davis, and when Tom Van Dijk comes in, he's just come in, hasn't he, Tom? And he's taken, I'll tell you, Tom's got a great lead. He's just come out of the pits there, car number 8, so he's got a slightly bigger advantage now. It's all about this battle for second.
Okay, so we're looking at Tom Van Dijk as the leader by 2.6 seconds from Sam Slater, with the chasing Adam Davis is 3.1 behind that. Now Kilian Stodor is in 4th, Ben Churchill 5th, and as they whoa,
Adam Davis down the inside.
Davis!
Oh, it was so close. That was a great move. It could have pulled off in the end, but just Sam Slater moved across at the last possible moment. Great effort from Adam, though. He's showing his intentions here.
There were 3 options going on there. Pass, don't pass, end up in the fence. And it could have easily been the fence, but Adam Davis had to back out to that one. It cost him 0.5 of a second.
Yeah, it's not a lot, is he? He's right, and he's right behind him again now. So this battle for second still raging on, and Adam will try again. One of Adam's little things, as we and him always race together, is saying, I always say to him, he's not too decisive in his overtaking move, but he certainly showed intentions there. That was a great effort.
Absolutely. He had a look on the left and on the right going down the back stretch that time. He's round the final turn, crossing the line to start yet another lap. And there's Tom Van Dijk. Now here comes the interesting battle we've been talking about. It's Slater versus Davis. Davis, of course, is following. Here they are now in the 2 black-coloured car and drivers combinations there. Davis, you have to say, is looking the racier of the 2. Sam Slater's doing great, but Adam Davis seriously on his case, and still the fastest person on the racetrack. Here they are down the inside. Again, he keeps looking down there. Now, unfortunately, Steve, could it be said, the more he tries and doesn't pull it off down there, potentially, the less confident he's going to get about his best shot on the whole racetrack?
Well, it's not just that. Also, Sam's going to know that every time Adam fades to the inside and doesn't make a move, that he could be safe going into that corner. So he has got to be decisive. If there's a small gap there, he's got to try and go for it.
However, could it be that Adam Davis is actually setting him up and making him constantly think to the inside, and then he's going to force him wide coming out of the hairpin as a result? Let's see again. He tries again one side and the other, but now we're getting Slater naturally taking an inside line. He's getting him rattled. This is how to do it. He's going to get in his head at some point. I mean, let's be fair, Adam Davis, the fastest man on the track there, battling with Sam Slater. Davis is making a thorough pest of himself back there, isn't he? He really is.
Yeah, like you say, I mean, there's no competition. As Anwar said last year, you know, he's faster. There's no question at all that Adam is a quicker driver here, 0.3 of a second. But it's whether he can make that move down the inside in that corner. I think, judging by watching them going through the whole lap, it's got to be that last corner that Adam's making the move.
Okay, we're coming into this this corner after the straight. This time, is he going to go for it? No, he's not. He hasn't gone for it. That's interesting, because you know Adam Davis, Steve. Is he smart enough to actually have something in mind elsewhere on the track?
No.
He's
yes,
not.
He is.
Okay,
no, of course he is.
Of
course he is. He's going to try and line him up wherever he can, but I just think personally that last corner, that's going to be the place he's going to do it, because there are a couple of hairpins. Maybe this next one they're coming up to now, if he can jink to the inside, but Sam takes a good line through there. He takes half the track, so there's not really the right move, but they are coming down again now. Adam right behind, fades to the outside, moves to the inside again. Oh, he had again a tiny overlap. It's so frustrating. Nearly had it going in, but Sam, he's driving so cool. doesn't seem to be affected by this at all, and Adam getting more and more frustrated as the laps tick down.
Okay, we've got just less than 5 minutes to go in this race now. However, we are seeing a slightly sinister feeling now in the Slater and Davis lap. Although it's very exciting for us, the past few laps we'll be losing time to race leader Tom Van Dijk.
So we're carrying on here. Sorry, James, just having a few microphone problems, but I will continue as the race goes on. It is still Tom Van Dijk out front with Adam Davis and Sam Slater. Sorry, Sam Slater and Adam Davis second and third place as they go through. Adam is still right behind, and the battle raging between these two. They're coming up to a back mark as well. That's driver number 9, Luke Jones, and Luke Jones shown the blue flag. Is he going to move out the way? Yeah, very courteous drive in there from Luke Jones, but he doesn't move out the way for Adam, and Adam's lost a bit of time there. That's going to frustrate him. It's Sam Slater has gone through, and Adam gesticulated to the marshals, pointing for the blue flag, but luckily he has not lost a lot of time there, and he's been able to just about stay in touch. But frustrating again for Adam, just little things like that. He's got to get back onto the back of Sam Slater now. Absolutely.
It does give Slater and Davis a bit of a breather from fighting each other. But they're back at it now, and Slater of course has had about half a lap's grace thanks to the back marker there, but back on him, and let's see what happens at the end of the straight. They're approaching it now. Here they are. Slater is the lead car there, the 12. This time that's about the one time we've seen Davis just follow behind. In fact, he still came out the corner better. He's got a good drive onto this final bend, but short of taking down the backstretch. He's had enough goes now and not pulled it off. Where could this come from, Steve? It's not going to come on that backstretch.
No, it isn't. I think Sam seems to have it covered every time now. The only chance, again, I think, is this next corner now. They're coming up if he can jink to the inside. But look at the line Sam takes. He cuts across at the last minute, leaves his back end sticking out slightly, and Adam's not got enough room. The back straight again. Adam's staying within his charts. Can he just at the last minute chuck it down? No, again, Sam holds the inside line. 2.5 minutes left. He's running out of time, James.
Absolutely, he is. They're both in black suits. They've both got black helmets. The only way we can tell them apart is one's 12 and one's 11. And the 12 is the one in the lead. That's Sam Slater. Here they are. There's Sam Slater leading from Adam Davis just there. The back marker 9 is Luke Jones, who was actually a lap down from them. He's the one they passed earlier on. Just going out of shot. Now, as we go on the back stretch, we might catch a sight of Tom Van Dijk. And Tom Van Dijk, of course, there he is, in the race leader, number 8. Then there's a gap. Now, this is second and third. This is the Slater versus Davis. Now, Davis again having a look. But Slater's had to defend. He's going to run wide. And this is why Slater ran wide. Davis has a look to the left, but he's never going to make it around there. It's just such a long way round. It's costing them time now, Steve, isn't it?
It's really costing them time, and Tom Van Dijk will be like a kid in a candy shop, won't he? I mean, look at the gap he's pulled on him now. The gap's 5.6 seconds. He'll be loving it. He's just taken advantage of these two fighting, and it's a shame because you think if Adam had got past Sam Slater earlier on, would he have the pace to catch Tom Van Dijk? Based on the lap times, you'd have to say they would, James.
I think if they weren't fighting each other, they absolutely would have had the pace to catch Van Dijk, and it's only thanks to their such an epic duel that Van Dijk's able to win this race. As easy as he is, he may have won it. Anyway, here's Tom Van Dijk now. Well, let's have a look there. Here comes Tom Van Dijk. So he's round the top end of the circuit. There he is in the blue and white. And as we can see, that's a bigger gap than what we've seen. When we get on the backstretch, he did have the entire length before, but maybe a bit more this time. So here's Tom Van Dijk. When will we see the others coming in? There we go.
Yeah.
Now there's a complete gap there. We have not seen that gap. That is down to these two fighting so hard. Look at that, middle line defensive. He's never going to be fast through the hairpin, but he has the ability to block Adam Davis out there. These times have fallen away a little bit, so much so that Tom Van Dijk is not that convincing in terms of lap times, but he is when the two behind are fighting and losing time.
Yeah, he is, and you have to take your hat off to Sam Slater here. This is a phenomenal defensive drive, one of the drives of the day, you have to say, because he's been race long. These two have been absolutely together. Adam Davis would make a great MOT checker because he's right on the back of Sam Slater's car, but the checker flag is going to go out this time, and it's going to be a fantastic win from Tom Van Dijk.
Tom Van Dijk is going to do it, and we'll have a look at Tom Van Dijk crossing the line. Van Dijk wins, but what's going to happen behind? It's all about second place. Slater versus Davis. It's going to be Slater. It's going to be Slater. Here comes Davis, but it's not enough, and Slater takes it. What a race, though. I mean, whichever way you look at it, Adam Davis had to switch carts. He didn't qualify very well. He's come through to third place. You've got to be proud of that, Steve.
Yeah, it was a great drive, and you can say a handshake between the two drivers there as they come through. That was a fantastic race, and great to watch, and great for them too as well. I'm sure there's nothing better than a great race, James, you know yourself. And yeah, they're going down the back straight now. Adam will be saying, "Why did you let me past? Come on, I was quicker than you. You can see I was quicker." But no, great racing by those guys. You can see them talking as they go down the back straight.
Absolutely,
superb.
Well, with that epic duel there in mind, it was always going to be one thing or another. It was either going to be a handshake or a punch, wasn't it, on that after the crossing the line there. So to recap the results then, we've got a win there for Tom Van Dyke. Great win. Largely uncalled by us, simply because of what was going on behind. Sam Slater ran through to second, the best result we've ever seen from him. Adam Davis came through in third, and an outstanding showing to come right through the field, and then spend such a long time behind Sam Slater and got the fastest race lap. Killian Stodder, he came through into fourth. Ben Churchill in fifth. Franklin Richter was sixth. Russ O'Mara was seventh. Luke Jones eighth, and Michael Beddoes rounded out the finishes with ninth place. Only 9 starters in that one. Great news for Michael Beddoes, because although he came last, he gets 9th place points.
It is. It's a 2-pointer, isn't it? It's all the points make prizes, and it's better than one. So moving on to Heat 9 now. Let's have a look and see the drivers in this one.
Well, in this one we've got, well, it's actually a very subtle, tough race. Although it hasn't got any of the absolute heroes that we were calling earlier on. We've got, let's have a look, we've got Melanie Howe, the Welsh girl, she's in the middle of all this. We've got Kim Ensign. Kim Ensign, as we've seen win multiple times in BRKC. We've got Andrew Duff, who's been around in the BRKC ever since the start. Andrew Duff, you would be expecting him to run sort of midfield, but he is capable of running at the front. We've seen him run right at the front before. In fact, I think he's even won one. Rob Duma gets better every time out. We saw him run ahead of Slavek Piskorz in the previous race, and Piskorz we saw doing so well. You know, he's won a race as well. Russell Ending, he's won multiple times in BRKC, raced several times in the World Championships as well. Anne de Hont, she's raced lots of times in the BRKC now. She's raced several times in the World Championship, Polish Championship. She's another one of these Europeans that travels around and does all the big events. We've got Arnaud Tinet, the Frenchman. We got Andy Gaban, who I think was second in his earlier heat race, if I remember right. Pete Lepin, we've seen great runs by him. And Ben Bennyworth, he's, you know, always out racing Ben Bennyworth in D-Max, in Club 100, British Rental Kart Championship. He's always out there. So there's a lot of people with something to say in this race, and it is going to be a tough one to call. I'm going to throw it forward and say a winner, maybe Russell Ending.
It's going to be, I say, either Russell Ending